Okay, this is an introduction. I'm going to do some audios now and then about corruption in Port Townsend. We'll call it corruption or anti-corruption comedy. And I just can't get videos and get information out fast enough to kind of share all this. So I'm just going to ramble about different people and things that I know. I moved to Port Townsend in 2012 and I wasn't doing anti-corruption stuff. I'd kind of let go of it, but people still did tell me stuff, and I did videos, and I went to court many times with people for victims advocacy. The amount of corruption that is here, the amount of control over people, the amount of greed, they act like they're a human rights city. The government acts like we love everybody and we're so diverse, but they don't have any diversity. What they mean by diversity is we're going to protect the people that we want to protect. We're going to give them human rights and civil rights and constitutional rights, and the people that we don't like, we're not going to give any rights. So instead, they should be saying, we don't like diversity, which is cool. I'm not a big fan of diversity myself. I don't want to sit in a room with Jehovah's Witnesses, evangelistic Christians. I don't want to sit in a room with anybody in the Port Townsend Pride community. I don't want to sit in a room with any Libby Wennstrom or any of her friends. Okay? I don't want to be around people who hate me or people who believe different than me. Or, yeah, you can say, oh, it's cool. You just hang out with people that believe different. Why? There's plenty of buildings. And like the pool issue, it's kind of silly to fight over a $40 million pool when you could build a $10 million pool in Hadlock and $10 million or 20 even in Port Townsend, like a couple $1 million one in Quilcene, one in Forks. You could build them in the different locations, and you could build pools that conservatives like to hang out. Instead of stripping everything, like take down all of your flags and your pentacles and your crosses and your archangels, or take down every single thing that is a belief system for you so we can make it diverse and neutral. It's impossible. It rips the soul out of everything. Have places where different people are comfortable. Have a pool that conservatives are comfortable. It doesn't cost that much money to build a pool. This $40 million project is because they want to do things for all different agencies. They want to do therapies for the hospital. They want to do, physical therapies. They're putting too much in one, and they're giving it to one nonprofit, the YMCA, instead of the local nonprofits, okay? Leadership is easy when you create spaces for the different factions, the different groups, and you don't force them together. We're diverse. No, you're not. You lie. You say no hate here, no bigotry, we love everybody. You're Nazis. You're fascists. You're bad. Instead, you should just say, look, I'm really uncomfortable with you. I'm really uncomfortable with evangelistic Christians or Jehovah's Witnesses or the Blood of Christ people that are downtown. I'm uncomfortable with those people at the pool, at the place I go to dance, the place I go to play, the place I go to hang out. I'm uncomfortable with them there. So create spaces where they don't want to be. They're not going to go there. But create spaces where they're comfortable among themselves. Don't try to force people together. And so I'm going to talk about those issues, but I'm also going to talk about, Michelle Sandoval, Queen Sandoval, Libby Wennstrom. I interviewed a guy years and years ago about different meth houses and where they'd forced, the landlord had lied and the landlord had traded sexual favors for rent. I've been in the Port Townsend courts for the last decade and seen the judges side with the abuser every single time. That Keith Harper, he was sleeping with one of the defense attorneys. And I went to hearings. I used to call it Code Blue because the guy was a firefighter and the courts protected him, even though the girls he got custody of were not his, but they had money coming in because their father had died. And so he forced them to him to get custody and to stay at the same school with his son who was molesting them. Just sick stuff, right? And so the mother ended up going back to the abusive husband so she could be around her daughter. There's tons and tons of these stories. And Port Townsend corruption goes on. And now that, Queen Sandoval's reared her vicious head again to do some more damage. She's the puppeteer, and she got Mauro in. She comes in and she complains about, oh my goodness, there's so much going wrong in Port Townsend. It's unresolved, and he's been working on. Well, she's been in Port Townsend government for decades, and had a real estate company here. She's the queen. She's the problem. She created the problems. There's this thing where you can get rid of council members called special privilege. It's a law. If that was happening when she was on city council, she'd have been removed anyway, because she voted on zoning and different things that gave her and her family money, right? Whether it was for her developers or her own real estate, it went into her pocket. In 2014, they started marijuana businesses in Washington state, and they were only allowing a few. So in Jefferson County, there was only going to be like 2 countywide. And whoa, lo and behold, it was the one that her husband and son owned, right? Nepotism, discrimination, prejudice. When we had a rally to support Julie Jaman, she put out in 2022 in September, her big birthday wish was that nobody showed up, right? And they caused this huge fear over what they called the Proud Boys. Yeah, there was a couple of them there. I met them, 2 gay guys, right? They painted us out as evil and hateful when they were the ones that were constitutionally violating our rights, calling us name, inciting violence, threatening us, smothering us with flags, pinning us to brick walls. And then Sandoval and all her groupies, right? We're the problem. They look right at this group attacking 80-year-olds, lesbians, rape survivors, and then they say we're the bad guys. And then if they do have to yield that something happened, then they say, oh, well, it wasn't really that big deal. Oh, there was no assaults, right? But there's probable cause and police witnessed it. They constantly lie to protect their narrative, and they constantly twist the truth, and they make it into the lie. Their version of reality, they push. And Michelle Sandoval's latest thing in the paper to defend Mauro, there's no defense, okay? What he did to us at the Julie Jaman press conference is unconstitutional, is evil. He should not be in any leadership role anywhere forever. He should have some job out in the woods or something completely by himself. He is not a leader, okay? He could have stepped in and neutralized that situation. Instead, he worked up everybody. He got emails between the library and between all these different people. He worked everybody into this hateful, horrible thing that was happening because some 80-year-old woman's speech, right? Julie's First Amendment right. You know how many times people have said that to me? You got a penis? Come on. It's speech. They turned it into a riot. A good leader would have been able to squelch that. He didn't. And then when we were attacked and mobbed and really hurt and our rights violated and our voice shut down and deliberately kept out of a council meeting that denied our due process, he was called out on it. Stephen Schumacher in the city council meeting, you can see that. And then Mauro says, oh, well, he justified it because of a PR firm that created a Q&A about the YMCA issue that somehow made it okay in Mauro's evil mind that a mob shut down our constitutional rights. I wasn't at the YMCA. Amy wasn't at the YMCA. She got a permit. These people came to speak at a permanent event. There was nothing that justified our assault, especially some incident at the YMCA that had nothing to do with us. We had a right to speak. Good leadership would have made it so it wasn't an international incident. The hate that city council, led by Mauro, brought upon us, brought upon women in our community is not okay. So anyway, we're going to talk about this stuff. We're going to make light of it. We're going to make fun of it. I'm going to tell you all their little motives, about Libby Wennstrom's nonprofit and all of their odd sexual stuff and going to court and Libby Wennstrom's desperation to shut up Braith Miller, right? And the Touchstone boat and all of that, and to shut up Jenny Ellison and all that she knows. We're going to visit about that, and I'm just going to ramble about it because I just can't get the information out fast enough. I'm going to tell you all about the process for my ethics complaint with Libby Wennstrom and how all that went and what you can do to remove council members and just have some fun. So stay tuned. Bye for now. I love you guys.